Welcome friends. In this video I will show you how to calculate loan payment using PMT function in Microsoft Excel. The first thing I will do will be to zoom in so we can see the cells very well. Then of course let me just quickly explain. This is Excel worksheet. We have sheet 1, 2 and 3, and in each of these we have the columns, then we have the rows, and in between the columns and the rows we have the cells, and this cells has sales addresses. For example, this cell has an address of B2, this one is C4, and this is B6. So I will show you how to use these sales addresses in our calculation when we're inputting data. So the first thing I'm going to do will be to type the annual interest rate that will be given to us by the bank. Then we'll also type the number of years that we will be required to pay off this loan. Then we have the number of payments that we'll make during this period. Then we also have the loan amount that will be paid, that we will collect from the bank. Then we will calculate the monthly payment that we will make. That's payments that we will make every month to the bank. Then what will be the total cost of this loan on us, and what will be the total interest that we would have paid at the expiration of this period. So those are the things that we will calculate. So, but before we start up anything, the loan amount is where we will indicate the amount that we will collect from the bank. So I'm going to format this column to reflect the currency that I want, in this case Naira. So I'll just right click here, then I'll go to format cells, then I'll go to currency, then I'll click here and look for Naira, then I'll click OK. That cell has been formatted to take in anything that has to do with Naira. Then of course the monthly payment too, I would love to format this to reflect, so instead of going back through that process, I could just click here and drag this down, so the cell will be formatted with the same value. For example, if I type 33, that's 33 Naira. If I type 56, that's 56 Naira. So that has been formatted. So now the first thing we're going to do will be to indicate how much we will collect as loan from the bank. Let's assume the bank gives us 1 million Naira, and we are told to pay off this money at the rate of in 10 years. We're told to pay off this money in 10 years at the rate of 5%. 5% interest rate. So the total number of payments I will make, because it will be since there are 12 months in a year, so the total number of monthly payments we will make will be the 12 times the total number of years, or the total number of years times 12. So here we have 10, and the column, the cell address is C3, so we'll calculate that as C3 times 12. So we're going to make total monthly payment of 120 times. So then we now moved over here. So to calculate the total monthly payment, what we'll do is to click on this cell and type equal to, we use the PMT function. Then the total monthly rate will be the annual rate divided by 12. So we have C2 divided by 12. Then the number of payments that we'll make is already shown in cell C4. So we type C4, and the present value of the loan is 1 million Naira, which is already shown here in cell C5. Close this and we'll press enter. So the system tells us that the total value of a monthly payment will be 10,606 Naira 55 kobo. So what I'm going to do is to remove the brackets I'll come over here and put minus that and press OK. So the system now shows it the way it should be. So now this is what we're going to pay every month. So now what will be the total cost of this payment? The total cost will be the monthly payment times the number of payments. The monthly payment is shown here in cell C7. So we type equal to C7 times the number of payments. The number of payments is C4. So I type C4 and press enter. The system tells us that the total cost of this loan at the expiration of this period will be 1,272,786 naira 18 kobo. So what will be the interest? So if this is what we're going to pay at the end of 10 years and this is what I was given, so the interest will be this minus this. So that will be equal to cell C8 minus cell C5. And the system tells me the difference is 272,786. So what this means is that if I am given a loan of 1 million naira and I'm told to pay for a period of 10 years at 5% annual interest rate, I will make a total of 120 payments, and each monthly payment will be just a little over 10,000 naira. So the total cost of the loan at the end of the day will be a little over 1.2 million, and the interest that the bank will make will be 272,000. So that's the interest we pay. So what happens if the interest rate suddenly changes? For example, if it's not 5, it's something like 10%. What you notice is that the total monthly payment will increase. The total money that will be made by the bank will also increase, and this is the total interest you would have paid as a result of the period that you have taken the loan. So the higher the interest rate, the higher will be the interest that you pay based on the duration that you've taken. So one key thing here is that when you're taking a loan for anything, you have to be able to negotiate for the interest rate. We always prefer a loan that has a single digit interest rate and sometimes a bit lower. So if you have a lower interest rate, you will pay just a little interest rate. But if the interest rate is quite big, up to 25%, then you'll be sure you pay a lot of money. So if you have this kind of high interest rate, annual interest rate, and you're paying quite a lot of money, like here at 25%, I collected 1 million naira, and I was given this money at 25% interest rate, and you can see here at the end of the day, the total interest I will pay will be 1,729,915 naira, 15 naira 40 kobo. That's quite a lot. So will you want to risk paying this much for a loan that you collect, or will you rather want to save up your money to do whatever you want to do? This is what the essence of this training, and this is why we're exposing you to this. So you can use this to really know what to do. The another thing is that you have to go for a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate is that interest rate that remains constant throughout the duration of the loan. If you have a varying interest rate, what that means is, let's assume that this year is 5%. This is what you are paying on a monthly basis. Then some other time, maybe the next year it changes to 8%. So it's varying. In that case, you have to be very careful because you may pay what you did not bargain for. Okay, that's one. The another thing is, assuming you have a particular interest rate on a loan and it's fixed, and you don't want to stay all this long, you don't want to keep paying this monthly interest rate for this duration, what you can do is to reduce the number of years that you want to use in paying the loan. For example, if the bank gives you the loan for a 10-year period, you can decide, look, I'm not going to pay this amount of interest rate for this period. I'm going to work very hard and make sure I pay off this loan that I collected in 4 years. So let's say what will happen in 4 years. So I want you to note the monthly interest rate. I want you to note the total amount. I want you also to note the total interest that you pay. So if I change this to 4 years instead of 10 years, so this is what is going to happen. You're going to pay a higher monthly payment, but the interest on that loan will be a lot smaller compared to 10-year period. So if you work very hard to pay for your loan, you can pay it off. You can choose the number of years you want. You can tell the bank, look, I know you gave me this for 10 years, but I'm going to finish. I want to pay off this in a short period. And you can work very hard to pay it off so that you'll be free. So a lot of sacrifice has to come in. A lot of unnecessary things has to be let. You have to let go of a lot of unnecessary things in order to get this done. So in summary, understanding how to pay your loan, how to be disciplined, how to negotiate for your loan, how to reduce the number of years of payment in order to pay off your loan is absolutely very important. Alright, I hope this helps you in making a decision on how you manage your loan, how pay off the loan that you get from banks. Thank you for listening.